both. You're welcome to join with video if you want, but we are going to keep everyone muted. But if you do have any comments, you're welcome to say something in the comment section or in the chat. And Sylvia and Angie are going to be helping us out and mediating that for us. So we're going to give people some time to come in and get started. I'll hook back up to Instagram and say hello again to anyone else watching. Yeah, so sit tight, ladies, and we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. Actually, you're welcome to comment below and let us know the ages of the kids that you have and kind of what stage you're at with potty learning. Because if we have a nice tiny group, which I'm secretly hoping, no, I'm kidding. It'll be great because then I can support you guys individually with the needs that you both have. I'm gonna open up the chat just to see. There we go. Ariel's in the waiting room. We can let Ariel in. Okay. Ariel's such a big supporter. My goodness, that girl. Look at that picture. Okay. 3.5 and still isn't potty trained. She has interest but can't seem to figure out how to do it. Any tips would be appreciated. Cynthia, you are in the right place, my dear. 3.5 is a great age. We'll go through all the tips and tricks. We'll go through all the developmental milestones so that you can get an idea of where she's at developmentally and make the connection between the two for her. And then you'll know your next steps so that you guys can make a plan, follow through, and then you're good to go. So we can definitely help with that. How did you hear about us, Cynthia? I'm always curious to see how you found out to pop on and listen to my workshop. I know it would take time for people to type. Hi, Ariel. I'm waving everywhere, up and down and around. Ariel, how old are the girls now? Facebook Moms Group. Perfect. Thank you, Cynthia. Ariel has 2 girls. I know that. I want to remember their names, but I'm terrible with names. Ariel knows that though. Okay, we're going to do our, it isn't even 8 o'clock yet, so thank you guys. Lakeland's 3, Rivers 1.5. Is Lakeland in underwear yet? Is she potty trained? Are we getting there? River's 1.5 years. Yeah, I knew River was younger. Hi, everyone on Instagram. It's Katryn from the Curly Top Bake Shop and the Program and Training Director of Angelic Treasures Christian Daycare. I know I wear different hats. You're welcome to join us if you're interested in potty learning for your little one. Our Zoom link is there and you can pop right on and get that information from us there. Yeah, I knew she would be before she was 2. All right, welcome, welcome everybody. Before she was 2, Ariel. River's only 1.5 years. Give that girl some time. Hi, Ayana. Hi, Gladys. Welcome. I'm going to mute everyone just so we don't get background noise from everybody. I'm going to be the only one that's unmuted just so it doesn't get a little bit crazy. But welcome to the chat. If you guys want to let us know about how old your children are and where they're at with potty learning so that I can direct a few things right towards you, then that would be fantastic. And we'll give everyone like 5 minutes to come in. I can give you guys a bit of background about myself. Did any of you participate in the programming and activities workshop that was last week? If you did, I'd love some feedback to let me know if you've tried any of the activities. That's always great. And if not, let me know how you heard about us. I love that part too. So there's lots for you to do. I'm giving you a ton of work at the beginning. I don't know if you can see that on Instagram, me declining phone calls. Charmaine, welcome. Okay, Charmaine's connecting to audio. Perfect. Everyone's muted. You guys can see me. Angelic Treasures Christian. Oh, you guys both have that name, and you're on either side of me on my screen, but I don't know where you are. Angie, if you could wave. That's Angie. She's the CEO of Angelic Treasures Christian Daycare. And on the other side, this is the side that she's on to me, but that is Sylvia Martiniani, and she's the COO of Angelic Treasures Christian Daycare. I'm Katryn Murray. I'm the Program and Training Director of Angelic Treasures, and I do all of that wonderful support for our families. And our goal right now through COVID is to help the community, because now a lot of you are home with the kids. And if you are at home because of work or whatever the circumstances are, we want to make sure that we're supporting you in getting the kids to hit those developmental milestones. All right. So like I said, we're still going to wait a couple minutes. We still have time. And as Sylvia and Angie let people in slowly, we will get started. If anyone's just joining, you're welcome to write down how old your kids are and where they're at with potty learning, just so that I can direct some of my comments and things towards them. If anyone has specific concerns, please comment, just so that even if we're going to touch base on it later, it just gives me a heads up so that I can keep it in the back of my mind when I get to that part of the presentation. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Sneha. I'm going to mute you, Nancy, not to be rude, but just so that there's no background noise. Thank you. Thank you for muting. But like I said, if you have any comments, ages of children, anything like that, you're welcome to write it in the chat. If any of you guys did come to our last workshop that was on programs and activities to do at home with your children, and you could think of another workshop that you're interested in, please comment. I'd love to know what parents want to hear. We have over 20 years plus of experience in the childcare field, and we know a lot. And my goal is to give you guys that knowledge. There's no use of me sitting with it. And if you guys could benefit from it, I'd love to help. So please, yes. And then you're always able to email webinars@angelictreasuresdaycare.com. You can see that in the chat. That email address will give you all of the notes from today's workshop, as well as the presentation, so that if there's anything you missed or forgot, you can, there it is, ATCD webinars@angelictreasuresdaycare.com. Can we delete the first one? Is that possible? No, we can't. You know, I live and learn. Okay, so one more minute and we are going to get started. It is really nice to have everyone on here. If I can help just one of you, then my job is done, which makes me so happy. But I guarantee you will all take something away from this presentation. That's so funny. All right, so we're going to get started. The really cool part about this, and the reason why we decided to veer away from Instagram Live and Facebook Live and go on Zoom, is because I have the ability to share my screen with you. It is an actual presentation, like a good old-fashioned PowerPoint presentation. And the reason why I wanted to do it that way is because I don't want you guys to miss anything. There's a lot that happens with potty learning, and it's really important that you get everything. And even if you look back and say, oh, I missed that, oh, I don't remember Katryn saying that, you'll have the notes so that you can look back and say, that's what's going on, that's where we're at whatever age your child is. So I will give you a little brief snippet about myself. So I've mentioned that my name's Katryn Murray. It says it across the screen, so you guys know who I am. I am the Program and Training Director of Angelic Treasures Christian Daycare. I have been in the field for, oh my goodness, 15 years, at least on my own. The daycare center has been open for quite a long time, 20 years. We've been in the community of Mississauga, and we've expanded to Newmarket and North York and Mississauga East, and go on our website, you'll see it all. I'm just going to read Cynthia's message that 9 months because it's going to be easier and later. Very interesting. That's cool, Cynthia. I'd love to know more about that a little bit later, but how old is your child now? Just so that I know. We're muting people, no worries. Just so that I know. Like I was saying, I'll get back to Cynthia after. Like I was saying, that is my job title, and that's what we do at Angelic Treasures. I'm 11 months old now. Perfect. Thanks, Cynthia. So yeah, I've been doing potty learning workshops for our families for years. I've trained our staff in how to do it. I've trained our parents, and I've trained the community. So I worked with the region of Peel to support families and do the workshop specifically for families in the region, which is great. Perfect. Oh, you guys are all writing. Thank you for the information. I will get to all of that and continue on. We have 2-year-olds. Okay, sits doesn't go. Thank you, Chris. 16 months, potty train now. Okay, these are all great questions. So we're going to hit the milestones now. You guys are going to get the answers to all of your questions, and you're going to see the developmental milestone. So you can say, okay, my child is that number, but does that mean that they're ready? So I'm going to show you how to know that they're actually ready. So age is just a number. That's from infant all the way till we're in our 50s. That's what we say, that age is just a number. But it's the same for them in terms of hitting the developmental milestone. They're not going to hit everything by a certain age. It just doesn't happen, but they will get it. So it's important for you to check those cues and signs. Student 17. Okay, I have to tell Ayana, I'm not a miracle worker. So if you put the work in, then it will happen. But I can't pull miracles. I'm not good at that, but I can give you the tools, I promise. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, you guys are fantastic. Yeah, Ayana's laughing because she knows it's true. I'm not a miracle worker. Oh my gosh, I love this. Thank you so much for all your messages. We're going to read them. Sylvia and Angie are going to read them, and we'll get there. Okay, so let's get started. I'm actually going to share my screen with you. Right before I do that, though, I want you guys to know that you're all in the same boat. Everyone is on here because their kids are a certain age, trying to figure out potty learning. We don't want diapers anymore. They're expensive. It's true. And we're figuring it all out. So there's no judgments here. You're welcome to comment about your experience if you want to. This is a judgment-free zone. If anyone is judgmental by any means, we will easily remove them because that's not what we're here for. We're here to support each other and lift each other up. That's it. And much like my last webinar, if you guys stay till the end of this one, you will be entered to win an Amazon gift card to help you in the potty learning world. I do have a whole wish list of items from Amazon that are inexpensive that can get you started with the tips and tricks that we're going to give you, and you could potentially win that and go on. Okay, so we're going to get started. So I'm going to explain to you all of the things that we're going to review first. I want Kimmy. Can we let Kimmy in first? Perfect. I'm just going to make sure Kimmy gets started before I share the screen because I don't want her to just see the screen and jump into it. Oh, there's Kimmy. There you go. Hi, Kimmy. Welcome. You're welcome to check the chat and see what people are messaging, and you can join with that. I'm just about to share my screen. I'm Katryn, and we'll be able to get started. So here we are. All right, guys. It's Potty Learning 101. I know it sounds funny, but it's true. It's Potty Learning 101. So Angie and Sylvia are going to be reading and checking the chat. I'm not going to be doing that when I'm in this screen just because I can't. And there's more people that are trying to enter, so we'll let them come in quickly. I know, I apologize. I knew people are going to come in slowly and surely, but I just really wanted to make sure that we're getting started and being kind to all of your time. Sylvia, can you let a couple people in, please? Okay, so Potty Learning 101. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're learning about. The biggest thing, if it lets me, there we go. The things that we're going to explore, the 4 stages of potty learning. So the stages of potty learner, they're really interesting. Their kids are really great at making everything really predictable for us. That's why it's fantastic. It's wonderful for us. They show us the sign, and it's really important for us to be able to decipher those signs. So we want to support them to know what's next. And in that section of the 4 stages of potty learning, I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to show you each individual step. Next, we're going to know how I know my child is ready. So once we know what's going on and what the stages are, we're going to be able to know where our child lies in the stages to know what they need next. It's going to be great. What you can do as a parent is next. It's going to be how to set them up for success. Tools that you can use. Like I said, there is no magic 8-ball. There's nothing like that. It's really consistency. And I'm just going to give you things to support you in knowing where they're at so you can anticipate what's happening next and what's happening with their body. What does daycare do? So some of your children don't go to daycare, and that's fine. But a really important part of this section is to understand how to track how your child's doing with the potty. So that's big. We follow best practices with that in terms of childcare. So I'll go into that a little bit. Because for some of you guys, your kids are at daycare 5 days a week, all day. So, and I've heard from a lot of people that, well, my daycare center doesn't do potty learning. It doesn't support potty learning. So what do I do? And that's kind of tricky. So I'm always going to tell you guys that you need to challenge them, not in a mean way, but find out from whoever's watching your child what their potty learning policy is and how they do it. Because the only way that your child is going to be successful is if everyone's doing the same thing across the board. So that's really vital. What not to do is really important. There's certain things that it's hard, it's frustrating. I know I have 3 children myself. My eldest is going to be 5. I have one that's turning 3, and I have one that's getting ready to potty train. She's turning 2. So I know it's tricky and your carpets take a hit, but not a huge hit. I'm going to give you tips on that one too. Whoever is not muted, Sylvia, could you please mute them? Thank you. Last thing we're going to look at is what to bring to school. That's also along the lines of what to pack. So if you're going to go out, I have parents who ask me, Katryn, I do not want to take them out when we're potty learning because the second I do, they're going to pee in the car seat. How do I manage that? What do I do? And it's like, it's hard. And I understand that. So it's going to be able to pack your bag so that if an accident happens, because it will, how to manage that. All right, let's get started. Where do we begin? First things first is I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed. Don't, because the second that you're stressed out, you're going to project that on the kids and then it's not going to go anywhere. It can happen easily if you follow the right steps, and you cannot have a power struggle. Every single one of you has had a power struggle with your child at one point in time. I have them often. It happens. But you know that the result of a power struggle, nobody's winning. So in terms of something where it's potty learning and supporting them to do something like that that's new and different, there can be no power struggle because it's not going to be successful for them. And my job, let's get into that. Well, my job specifically, before we get into toilet play, is my job is to give you the stages. My job is to help you understand where your child is and to give you tips on how to get through those stages. So we'll always start with stage 1, which is potty learning. Now, I'm wondering if there's a way that I can see. I'm going to try to see the chat because I want to see if anyone has not when I'm in presentation mode. That's okay. If you guys have any questions, just write it in the chat and Sylvia can unmute herself or Angie can unmute themselves, and I can have a look there and see what's going on. So the very first stage of potty learning is called toilet play. I know that sounds kind of strange, but it's really neat. So you're going to start to notice that your child, depending on their age, is really interested in the toilet. So this could be if they've got older siblings, if they're parents, anything like that, and they like to just sit on it. It's usually with their clothes on. Sometimes they might observe like parents or other children at daycare using the bathroom and they're like, what's going on there? What's happening there? And they're interested. That's a huge part of toilet play. So they're just generally showing interest in the toilet. So it's like, okay, I'm sure all of you have seen, especially the first time you bring a potty in to your house, like the kids sit on it with their clothes on all the time. They think it's the funnest thing ever. And they'll sit and they'll hang out and you're just like, that's not what it's for. But it's the idea of toilet play. It's becoming comfortable with that new weird thing that they've never had to use before. So as I'm going through the stages, I just want you to take mental notes and say like, oh, stage 1, yes, they've done that. Oh no, they haven't really done that. They're not interested yet. And then when we're done all 4 stages, I want you to comment and just say what stage your child's at, because I'm always interested to see, and then hopefully I can give you tips based on that stage. So that's stage 1, and you want to encourage this. I find that this stage happens between 12 months and 18 months. Like I said, every child's different. The way that they develop is different, but that seems to be a general thing where they're starting to become more aware of their body parts, things like that, and being aware that that's something like that's a toilet thing. That's a different thing. What do I do with that thing? And the interest is there. So that's big on toilet play. When you get into stage 2, it's practice, and it's like, okay, so now we're playing, but now it's like actually figuring out the different parts of it. So flushing happens, pulling their pants up and down is huge. Getting on and off the toilet is really big. So if you have a big toilet at home, that's something that they'd be practicing. So some people might not have little potties, and that's totally fine. But if you do have a big toilet at home, just make sure that the kids are comfortable on it, whether that means having a ring for them to sit on, which don't always fit on toilets, but I have found one for you that fits 99% of toilets. Or step stools are really important. Anything to give them stability on this really gigantic big thing. Potties are fine. Like I'm not against them by any means. We use them at our house, but I want you just to remember that a potty needs to stay in the bathroom. So hi guys on Instagram, you're all waving and I'm missing that. Hello, hello. Please go on to our Zoom so that you can see the presentation. Back to this part. So that is a huge part of toilet practice and giving them the stability and comfort. So if you're going to use the potty, make sure that the potty is inside the bathroom, because the last thing you want, and I know everyone has done this before, the last thing you want to do is have the potty in the TV room so that they're sitting on it and watching, and they're not actually like making the connection of what they're supposed to be doing there. So try to stay away from that if you can. Hand washing is really big. So you want them to go through the steps of it. So it's huge to be able to get through all the stages and steps. So from pulling pants down to pulling pants up, flushing the toilet, using a little bit of toilet paper. That's a big part of toilet practice. So this usually happens when they are close to and turning 2, when they're actively starting to sit on the toilet. Now, that doesn't mean that they've peed. Like let's not get crazy here. Like they're not just going to sit and pee. It doesn't happen. Don't forget that your kids have been peeing in a diaper and going number 2 in a diaper since they came out of the womb. So you're looking at like, 365 days times 2 at least of them doing this every single day, multiple times. Sorry, was I muted? Did that happen? Okay. So let me rewind for a second because I don't know when I got muted and I don't know why. Miss Sylvia, don't press any buttons, please. I was saying that children, they've only been on this earth for like 645 days, let's say, like just before they turn 2. And they've literally been they've been going in their diaper every single day since then. So make a connection that it's not an easy change for them and it's not going to happen overnight, but the consistency is going to help get them away from the diaper and towards the toilet. But that's the biggest thing, is the consistency. Hand washing is really big. So getting them into the routine. Children thrive off of routine. They thrive off of knowing what's next, and they like to be able to anticipate what's going to happen. So being able to go through those stages with them, they're going to get into the routine, and that's exactly what you want. Comfortable sitting, we said, successful sometimes. The really great thing about this stage, which I love that very first time that they're successful on the toilet and they pee, because when that happens, it's like a party. And depending on your child, you have to be very careful, because some kids, it scares them and they're like, no, thank you. Like, I don't know what just happened. It terrifies me. And you have to make sure that your reaction is based on how your child is. You know the personality of your child. My kids love to party. They love the praise. They love the encouragement. They were so excited. There's other kids that are very like, okay, that happened. And you're like, good job. That's what we're doing. We're peeing. This is fantastic. So the goal is that they're constantly being introduced and sitting on the toilet. So if this is at daycare, when children turn 2, that's how it generally is. That's how we do it. Every time it's a diaper change, so parents know diaper changes are at 9, 11, 2, 4, like there's times. That helps train their bladder that they're going to be going to the bathroom. It sounds different, but physiologically, it really helps them when they can anticipate when the bathroom time's happening. Just like us, every morning, first thing you do, you get up, you go pee. I know it's because you've been sleeping for like, well, if we're lucky, 8 hours, let's face it. But it's along the lines of that's like our body naturally wants to do that. So it's helping them understand that their body naturally wants to do those things. So getting them comfortable sitting is going to be really key. And they're going to have an increased number of dry diapers. So that sounds crazy. A really big thing that I've noticed when I do this workshop is parents are just like, I don't understand what you mean by dry diapers. And I'm like, well, like, when all of the diapers now come with that really cool yellow line and it turns blue and you know that they've peed, and they look at me and they're like, Katryn, I don't check to see if they've peed a little bit during the day. I wait till, they're walking around with a really low diaper and I change them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So stop doing that. And the reason being is because, and this is just an interesting developmental thing for you to know, when children are infants and they pee a little bit at a time until their diaper's full. It's not like adults where they sit and they have a huge long stream of pee and then when it's done, it's done. They're not holding it. It's constantly happening. So our job is to decipher when they get bladder control. And you're going to know that because diapers are going to be dry. So you're going to have to actively be checking to see if their diapers are dry. So I would suggest giving yourself that routine of checking at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and so on every 2 hours during the day and checking, and ensuring that every time you check at those times, put them on the toilet. And they do not need to be successful. Like, do not anticipate that that's going to happen. If they have a dry diaper, your goal is to keep them on a little bit longer because you know that they're going to pee soon. But the ultimate goal is to get them comfortable sitting, enjoying it, and happy there. My favorite thing is the potty. The best time to be able to sit them on, in my opinion, is right before their bath at night. So bath time, pajama time, they're stripped down naked anyways. This is like perfect opportunity. And we either sing songs, read a book, what have you. I don't encourage you guys to sit kids with tablets because that's not, it kind of defeats the purpose of what you're doing for them. So the ultimate goal is to have something that's relatively quick, a good 2 minutes, and then it's done. And usually once they start to get to the end of stage 2, it'll happen. They will pee on that toilet and you will clap and you will praise them and everything like that. And then when they do, you want to make sure that you're dumping it into the toilet and allowing them to flush so that they can make the connection between that they've peed and where it's supposed to go. That's huge. So a really cool thing about the potty, and that's why I personally like it, is because they can physically see what they've done. Whereas when you're sitting on the big toilet, when you pee and like they're so little, like it's just the littlest bit of pee, but it's a big deal. Sometimes you're like, did they pee? Is the water yellow? It kind of still looks clear to me and you're not sure. And then you're just like, yay, like you're and they're like, yeah, I don't know what I did. Did I? Had somebody tell me. So that's why I prefer a potty, because it's like the instant gratification of, yes, I did pee. It's there. Let's dump it out into the toilet. Let's flush together. And then I just have a thing of Lysol spray, which I know is a hot commodity like 8 months ago, but I'm sure we can get it back on the shelves. I would just spray it out, rinse it out in the tub, and flip it upside down for next time and let it air dry. So that's how you do stage 2 of potty learning, because they're successful sometimes, it's happening, and they have an increased number of dry diapers. So I feel like most people who come on for the potty learning are like around this area, because they're just like, yeah, we sit, nothing's really happened yet, we're kind of in between. And that's totally fine, because now you know the steps to do to be able to get them comfortable there and to sit. Stage 3 is like, oh, I hear my voice. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, I'm not quite sure what's happening. I'm going to pause my share.
Katryn,
Yes.
Katryn,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, Katryn, can you add me again, Angelic Treasures?
To what?
Yeah, it's Sylvia speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? It's Sylvia speaking.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Add me to Instagram.
No. There's something wrong with the I'm not quite sure what's wrong with, can you guys, okay, can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, just write something quick in the chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Did my screen disappear? Just so I know. It didn't? Yes, it did. Cynthia, you can't hear me? No. Maybe I shouldn't have asked 2 questions. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kimmy. So my screen disappeared. So I'm going to try to reshare it. You're not sharing your screen. Thanks, Margaret. I don't know what happened, but an error popped up on my screen, but I am going to reshare it and continue. So I just want to make sure, because now I can see the chat. We were just getting into stage 3 of potty learning, correct? We finished stage 2? Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll up to your comments. Having a stool to set their feet to support. Oh, that's an Angelic Treasures. And throws her toys in the tank. Okay. All right. So we are going to get to all of that. I love these messages. And I know that Angie's replying to them. I thought that's perfect as well. And she also trained me on the potty learning. So don't worry, she knows what she's talking about. So I'm going to get back to it so that we can get to stage 3, because that's the exciting stage. That's kind of the messy stage, I'm not going to lie. But if for any reason that happens again, I apologize, and we'll just keep going, because, you know, we're doing Zoom for free and they're not charging us. So we're gonna go with the flow. So stage 3 of toilet learning is toilet learning. Stage 3 of potty learning is toilet learning. So as soon as you've made the decision that, okay, they've been successful, we're going to put them in real underwear. That's huge, guys. Okay. So I know this is when I roll up my sleeves. I roll up my sleeve because it's happening. Okay. So when we switch them to real underwear, that means that they're successful on the toilet for at least 2 weeks straight and have consistently dry diapers. You're like, okay, Katryn, that's never going to happen. It will happen. I promise. But at the same time, you want to make sure that they're there. Like, you don't want to put them in underwear before they're physically ready. And then they have a ton of accidents, because then you guys are frustrated, they're frustrated, and there's zero winning. So once you get through stage 2 and you're introducing it consistently, so like I said, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and you're just like, Katryn, come on. You guys, you have to do that. You have to support their body in understanding this new thing that's happening. You can't just look at them and be like, okay, go on this thing. Always remember, 2 years. They've been on this earth for 2 years. Sometimes it takes adults who are in their 30s way longer to process things than it would take the 2-year-old. So give them a little bit of credit with that one. So once they're dry for those 2 weeks straight and you're consistently taking them to the toilet, whether that's at daycare or whoever's watching your children. I know grandparents are kind of tricky. If you get a really, really great grandparent and they're watching them, just try to help them stay on that schedule. You switch to real underwear. So at this point, when you put on real underwear, kids are going to start showing gestures. If you have children that don't quite have the words yet, By 2, it's like between 2 and 2.5. That's when you see consistently that they're peeing on the toilet, they're ready for underwear, they're showing signs that they have bladder control, things like that. They're going to either show gestures or use words that they have to go pee. Um, and you know what? If they don't, that's fine because you've already been taking them at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and things like that to know that it's that their body's going to regulate whether they tell you or not. So be consistent with that. But as soon as you switch to underwear, you're going to want to take them a little bit more frequently just to kind of catch those oopsies before they happen. So they're going to happen. Accidents will happen. It's important that you guys support them, encourage them, clean up, and move on like it didn't even happen. But you guys have to create those expectations. So you have to make the expectation that at 9 o'clock, we're going to try to go potty. And I know that you guys have really crazy lives. And it's the idea of that it's an ideal, like Katryn. How am I going to take them to the bathroom at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock? It's a roundabout time. And if you have to go out, well, there's not really anywhere to go right now. This is a really great time to potty train your kids, guys. But if you do have to go out for any reason, um, take it into account. I remember that when we would go places, we used to go after everyone peed on the toilet. And it's like, okay, everyone's peed. We've got an hour, and you go and get whatever you need to get done in that hour. I don't suggest that you put them in a diaper for car rides. It kind of underline like it undermines what you're doing. But at the same time, if you have a long car ride where you're going to let's say the cottage, or you're going further than usual, that's when I feel like something like a pull-up would be beneficial. I do not promote pull-ups. We do not use pull-ups at our childcare center, and they are glorified diapers and they are a waste of your money. So I'm going to tell you why. The whole reason when you're potty training a child, when you switch to underwear, is you want them to feel wet. The second that they feel wet, they have the cue that an accident's happened, they need to change, something's going on. And they make the connection that they didn't make it to the bathroom in time. That's huge. So the other thing that you want to do when you're creating that connection that they're wet is by putting a diaper on. Diapers are made to absorb everything, guys. Like they are made really well. Huggies and Pampers, you're doing a great job. I can't argue that, but it doesn't help the kids feel wet. If they're wearing a pull-up, they're they're not going to know that they've peed, which sounds crazy, but it's true. They need to have that sensation. They need to have that puddle go down their leg, unfortunately, to know, whoop, something's going on, and stops them in their tracks. So it is an important part of the process to have an accident or two or five. Not too many, don't worry, but they'll happen. Clean up and move on. Expectations need to be created, like I said, and followed through. So when you say we're going to the bathroom after this activity, then follow through and go. Make sure that you tell them the expectation and you go for it. Don't let them wiggle it. If it's a big fight and they really don't want to go, because I know some kids are like that, all you want to do is encourage them to go for a song, or encourage them to go for a book, or encourage them to go. Just they don't say, you guys don't have to pee, it's okay, I just want you to sit, just to sit and try. And they will. And if they get through 2 songs, chances are that by the time they've already been successful for those 2 weeks, even if they don't want to sit, because now it's not fun, you know that, right? At the beginning it's like glorified, we get to do this, it's something new and exciting, and now it's a chore. Like, I have to go to this thing this many times a day when I'm busy playing. Like, come on, mom, what are you thinking? But in reality, like, now you're setting those expectations that it's no longer fun. Uh, and it becomes a have to. So once you're in underwear, and you guys, I'm going to encourage you to follow through. Don't go back on it. But if you know that they can do it because they've gone those 2 weeks dry, they can do it. They're not regressing. So process what you guys are doing as parents and seeing how you can adjust the environment for them, whether it's taking them more frequently and things like that, or helping them decide like, okay, we have to go after this game or after this episode, because I get that, or after 5 minutes on your tablet, because that's life and that's okay. Just use it to your advantage that, okay, 2 more minutes on your tablet, then we're going to go pee, or we can go now. That's my favorite line. So that's like my back pocket tricks. I always have tricks. Or we can go now. And they're like, oh, no, 2 minutes, mommy. 2 minutes is great. And you're like, wonderful. And then they'll follow through with that 2 minutes. So in reality, you're providing them with the choice, but both choices are beneficial to you. So that's when it's no longer fun. Someone just commented on our Instagram that putting a pull-up over pants during long car rides or the doggy training pad. Look at you. Miss Andriana just posted about the doggy training pads. Those are on my tips and tricks, my dear. But we will get to that just because that was a long comment. You guys, I promise you, for every situation you have, I'm going to have an answer for you. I promise. So I'm wondering how many people have their kids in stage 3 of toilet learning, where they're in underwear and they're having the struggle where they just don't want to go. And then the final stage is independent toilet learning. This is when the angels like come down from heaven and everyone sings because they get it. And it's great for everybody. So they're able to sit and understand verbal explanations. I find that when you put children in to underwear when they're close to 2.5, that's a regular age. By no means is there a normal age. But I find that as they get a little bit older, where they're closer to 3, they tend to be able to understand verbal explanations better. You can reason with them more. They also have an increased desire to please parents. So kids love praise. They love when they're doing something great. And that's another reason why we provide them with that emotional praise. But that's also a reason why we don't do things like sticker charts, parents, because a really big thing that parents tend to do, and it's not a bad thing, is you do what you need to do to get them to do what you need to do. So if you need to give them a sticker every time they pee, you're creating the expectation that peeing equals sticker. Okay, now I'm an adult and nobody gives me stickers when I walk out of the bathroom when I'm at work. Nobody. It would be great, but nobody does. But in reality, take off that expectation that they're going to get something and give them that praise of, look at how great you're getting big. You're a big kid now, and providing them with that praise instead. Now it's just something I don't do. That doesn't mean you can't try it. When it comes down to it, you guys need to do whatever you need to do to get through, because I am the first person to say what works for one child does not work for the other or the other or the other. So if you feel that you want to try a sticker chart, by all means go for it, but just process how you're going to take it away. Maybe provide it for a week just to get them really interested, and then take it away and have something else going on just to make it not, because they're going to expect something. And when your stickers get boring to them, they're going to expect bigger things. Like, what are we buying from the store? And it's like, where does it stop? Do I provide you with a car? It's like, no, guys. So dial it back, because they're always going to one up it. And as soon as they one up it, you're going to be in trouble if you can't produce the one up. So they just want your praise. They just want you to say, you're doing a great job, honey. I'm so proud of you. That's all they want. 24 to 36 months, that's the age when they're managing simple clothing and they're putting their clothes on and taking them off. The one thing that is beneficial for children that experience accidents every so often when they're in the middle of potty learning is that kids get really great at dressing and undressing. So we look at it as a learning opportunity that your kids are going to be able to pull off their pants, pull off their underwear, put on clean stuff all by themselves. And that's something that is a skill in its own. And because they might be getting dressed 4 different times that day based on potty learning, then that's kind of a benefit of it. By the time my kids were all done potty learning, they could all dress themselves. And I took that as a huge win. Not only were they out of diapers, but they can dress themselves. Improved memory. So that's when they start to get into that routine, and they help maintain that potty learning routine. The times of the day, they can anticipate what's next. Okay, before we go for our walk, let's go pee. And they're just like, no, I don't have to go pee. And it's like, that's fine. Just try. And if it doesn't come out, we'll try later. And then they go in, they're like, I peed. Like, yeah, okay. I knew you had to pee. You haven't peed for 2 hours, but good job, buddy. I knew you could do it. So giving them that support is huge. Gender awareness. So they're going to start imitating parents. And boys start to try to stand. If you guys have boys at home, little boys, try so hard to keep them sitting because they make such a mess. And apparently it just gets worse as they get older, I've been told. But also girls try to stand too. So keep tabs if you have a little girl and they've got older brothers and they've seen them pee. They might try to stand, and that is one heck of a mess. I have 2 older boys and a younger daughter, but she could very well give this a go. I know that my sister did when we were little, so I'm sure she'll be nice and embarrassed by that one. But that's stage 4. So those are the 4 stages of potty learning. Before we go, are they ready? I'm going to stop sharing my screen and check in our chats. Okay, so, all right, let's see what we've got going on here. Thank you for all your comments, guys. I just want to make sure that I'm going back and forth and supporting you guys with everything that you need. So Sneha says that her daughter's at stage 1. Yes.
Hi, I just want to let you know that I answered some of the questions of these lovely ladies.
Okay.
But just to say that you would go back to confirm what I've said and maybe support a little bit more.
Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through and answer questions just for a sec, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Because once you get through the 3 stages or the 4 stages of potty learning, the rest is a little bit easier. So let me just scroll up for a second. Okay, so Gladys says that her son is 3 and he's okay with bowel movements. That's great. That's usually the tricky one. The challenge is the pee accidents, both at childcare, I'm assuming, and at home. So the biggest thing for pee accidents and the biggest challenge if they're 3, you might want to decrease the liquid intake. So that's a really big part of it, to see how much they're drinking. And bringing them to the bathroom more frequently is a big one too. As long as you're consistent with those times, you should be able to catch them. I'd also check to see if they're having, how many pee accidents, Gladys, just to give me an idea. Because if it's a lot, then that's something to check with the doctor about, because that bladder control is something to check just to make sure. Chris, your child doesn't need to start talking. So if your 2-year-old isn't talking yet, that's okay. Sitting them on the toilet for times like I mentioned, bath time is really big, to just give them the opportunity to be comfortable with it. Utilize that. When children turn 2 is when we would start introducing the potty anyways, and just make it fun. And then you're going to start to see a little bit of success and the words will come. 2 is an age where some kids have a ton of words, some kids don't. And then as soon as your little one starts talking, it's going to be game over. And your child probably understands you. They're just not responding to you. So that would be a big one, to take their hand and lead them and guide them like that to sit on the toilet and talk them through what you're doing. Because as soon as you talk them through it, they're going to start understanding it. 2 years, 9 months. Takes the potty and moves it outside the bathroom. Oh, Chris. Throws her toys in the tank. Well, that's a different level of potty learning, where it's a little bit of potty play. So being interested in it is huge. You might want to revisit that and just continuously bring it back and say the potties for the bathroom, the potties for the bathroom, and make that connection with her. And Cynthia wants to start potty training her 11-month-old, but not sure how to start since she's limited language. That's the tricky thing about starting children when they're younger, is that they don't have that communication. But like I said, so if you go through the stages and see where your child is or where she's at, see if she follows any of those things. I found that my daughter was 12 months when she was really interested in the potty. And I'm like, oh, too soon, just because I have 2 older kids and I just didn't want to do it. And that happens. But if you guys are interested in it, follow those stages. If you consistently do those stages and encourage those stages, they're going to zoom through them like that. Doesn't matter the age. Just ensuring that you know that she's physically ready. So checking those dry diapers is going to be a big thing to know if she can physically hold her bladder. That's going to be the biggest part for you trying to do potty learning with a younger child. Yes, we're going to track the wet diapers. Thank you, Mrs. Angie. Okay, and then down here, I saw a couple more questions. Sneha said daughter's at stage 1. She says poop, but she tells us after she's done pooping. That's really great. Yeah, no, they never tell. Remember I told you about how diapers soak everything up when they pee? That's the issue with them. Like I said, so do the encouragement, take her to the bathroom, sit her on the toilet or get her comfortable with it just to read a book or to sing her favorite song. That's all you have to do is do one little thing at a time to just prolong the times that she sits on the toilet. Get yourself there first and then move on to stage 2. So make sure she's comfortable with stage 1 first. She rips off her diaper after she's done pooping, but won't sit on the toilet. It's getting messy. Oh, that's a tricky one. For Mira, you don't want her to take her diaper off on her own and sitting on the toilet after that would be messy. I'm going to message you about that after. And the earliest you can start, my son is 18 months. Sumya, I apologize if I don't get everyone's names perfect. Like I said, go through the stages, guys. All you have to do is go through the stages and it's going to tell you if your child's ready. You can give me an age and say, hey, Katryn, is my kid ready? And I can say, I don't know, I've never met them. So you're going to know based on these stages if they're ready. Okay, Gladys, 3 to 4 accidents a day. 3 to 4 is not terrible. It's enough though. Pay attention to the times that he's having these accidents and see if there's a connection between if he's having them right before nap time, right after nap time, if he's just missing, and see if you can correlate when they're taking him to the bathroom or you guys take him to the bathroom. I found that my son would always have an accident at about 5 p.m. if we didn't take him, because the last time he went was like at 2 at daycare and he got picked up. And for some reason, we just didn't think of it. But if we took him too soon when we got home at 3 o'clock, it was too early and he didn't have to pee. So you have to kind of gauge the times that they've gone versus the next steps of when they need to go. And then sometimes life gets in the way. So set timers. That's a really big thing for it too. And I'll give you that on our tips and tricks. Okay, I think I covered everyone. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen if I can figure that out. And then I'm going to give you guys the rest of these great things. So like we said, dry diapers, then it's time to take note. So when you're taking note of those dry diapers, just write it down on a piece of paper and say 9 o'clock wet, 11 o'clock wet, and what's going on. Because if you have dry, the first thing you need to do is go take them to the bathroom, get them to sit, get them comfortable, get it done. And then able to sit and pee successfully for at least 2 to 3 weeks. That's the goal. 3 weeks is a bit of a stretch. I always say that for families that have kids that like take a bit longer to do things, but 2 weeks is more than enough if they're consistent to make that switch to go to underwear. Come on, computer. And our job. So decrease those liquid intakes. If you guys have children that are 11 months old and you'd like to potty train them, but they're having 12 ounces of milk before bed or during their day or when they come home, you're going to have a harder time doing that potty learning. Make a point to check those diapers every few hours. These are all things that you need to do. Changing diapers in front of the toilet, that's new ed. Okay, so when your children start potty learning, you're like, Katryn, we're doing this. You get rid of that change pad in your house. You only need it for poops. The rest of the times, you should be changing them in front of the toilet so that every time you change, they sit. And they could just sit while you get the other diaper ready and like take a little bit longer so that they're sitting a little bit longer, but that's all you really need to do, which is great. You're encouraging them to sit each time, and it's okay if nothing happens. It's like, yes, great job sitting. You sat for a whole book. That's wonderful. Get them comfortable like that. Be consistent, like we said. Those times are really important, and making it fun. Prolong that singing time for as long as you can, whether it's their favorite book, like I said, whether it's a song, like I said. They're like, I don't want to sing a song. Then it's like, okay, tell me why you don't want to sing a song. And by the time they're done telling you why they don't want to sing a song, they've sat for long enough. And you're like, okay, we can try again later. It's a great thing to do. And then praise them when they're successful. Like I said, if you know your child and they're not into that, don't do it. Just talk about it. Make sure that you're putting everything into the toilet and they're flushing. And once you go to underwear, there's no turning back. Don't take that away from them. They're big kids. They're big kids. If they were ready for 2 weeks, they're ready. If things are changing, like we said, and you need that extra support because they're feeling unwell and things like that, there's circumstances where you do what you need to do for sure. But the rule of thumb is it's it's an exception to the rule, not the rule. So our rule is once you go to underwear, there's no turning back. There's exceptions to that rule, like if they're sick and things like that. So you know your child. What we do. So this is what we do as a child care center, but I always let parents know what we do as a child care center so that they can do the same things at home. We monitor the dry diapers. Those are the times and everything. We encourage sitting on the toilet. We monitor successful attempts. So we write down if they've peed, if they've just sat and things like that. And we take them every half hour to an hour and set a timer. I have an egg timer on my Amazon wish list that you guys will be able to see. And I think it's like $12. Kids love setting that. And when they set a timer themselves, they're more inclined to follow through with what happens after. They're excited about it. We still use diapers for nap time. Don't forget, when your children are sleeping, some of them are really heavy sleepers, and that's okay. It's the same rule that applies. When they're 2 weeks of dry diapers for their nap, you take away their diaper for nap. When they're 2 weeks of dry diapers overnight, you take away the diaper for overnight. So there's a process. It's the 2-week process. It works across the board. Accidents happen, like we said, do a quick change and be positive. But a really important thing I want you guys to take away from this is always let them sit and try to finish. When a child has a pee accident and they're wearing underwear and their pants get wet, they freeze. And that stops the pee from happening. And then we change them and we're like, it's okay, you're doing great. And then 10 minutes later, they have another accident. So their bladder was still full. They didn't fully release. And it's really great to have a successful end to it if they finish on the toilet and it works really, really well. So you want them to be really excited and happy that they've done a good job. Always end on the positive note. What not to do. So when we talk about positivity, there's always negativity. Pressuring them is a no-no. I know that we always say it's really great to have kids out of diapers. We really, really want them to be in underwear because we don't want to pay for diapers anymore. Diapers suck. They're so expensive. I totally get it, but don't pressure them. If you follow these steps and you start them early, we usually start as early as 18 months at home personally, introducing it so that when they do turn 2, they know what's going on. I always encourage that too. You can't introduce it too early, but knowing your child and when they're ready, follow the steps like everybody else. Your child might be a month faster, 2 months faster, but still follow it because you want to make sure they're getting all the pieces. Don't scold them. I know that's hard. When you have a child who's consistently having accidents, it is frustrating, but accidents are going to happen. But there's a way to ensure that when accidents happen, your life is covered. So another thing to mention, which is one of our tips and tricks, and somebody mentioned it on our Instagram, was puppy pee pads. And you're just like, Katryn, what are you talking about? So I bought them for my son when he was potty learning. Actually, that's a lie. I bought them because he was really sick and he had loose bowel movements and he was a baby. And I wanted to dry out his diaper rash. So we had them at the house. And when he started potty training, I'm like, what if we put one of these on the couch? And my husband's like, that's a great idea. So Atticus, my eldest son, would take his puppy pee pad and he would put it on the couch or on the floor before he sat down. And he never once peed on it, surprisingly enough. But at least I knew that my furniture was okay because you guys, scrubbing pee out of a mattress and a sofa, and this is not easy, and I get that. So cover your bases ahead of time. I think on Amazon, it's like 100 of them for $20. You cannot go wrong. Someone wrote to put them in the car seat for long trips. Perfect. Put it under their tushes. Diono has one that can go in the washing machine that goes on the car seat too. And it's just the seat part. They don't sell them on Amazon anymore. They used to, but those are great too, because it keeps your stuff from getting gross. And everyone who's ever had to wash a car seat knows how much work that is. It's a lot of work, but at the same time, like the kids' comfort is really important too. So having that there as a protector for the car seat, but still making sure the kids are comfortable and they're not sitting on a garbage bag. Because I know people sometimes do that and it's just not fun for them. Then it's a great solution. Be supportive. Don't forget they've only been around for 2 years. It is my famous line. You guys will hear me say this for every single workshop I do, whether it's behavior management, whether it's creative activities, whether it's getting messy with your kids. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That's not very long. So when you think about that, they've only been around for that long, they're managing their emotions pretty well. So support them with that. And what to bring to school. Like I mentioned, this is also what to bring in your bag. Lots of underwear. So if you go somewhere, make sure you've got lots of underwear. Lots of clothes, pants, shirts is really important. Shoes, socks, they're going to get their shoes growth. A really great thing is Crocs. Now, I hate Crocs because they're not great for kids and their feet. I know some people really love them, but they're fantastic for potty learning because you can rinse them off, dry them, and put them back on. Give yourself a break. Do what you can to help them with that and make everyone's life easier. They're at the dollar store. The kids are potty learning and having those accidents for maybe a month if you're consistent. Maybe a month. So getting them to wear Crocs around the house and to school and is easy, and you can easily rinse them in any sink and dry them and put them right back on, and they will not stink. If you've ever tried to wash pee out of a shoe, it's never going to come out and the shoes will never be the same. So that's a good tip and trick. And plastic bags, those extra garbage bags that you get from the grocery store, keep them because you will put those soiled clothes in it so that you can wash it. And these are, this is an extra support item. So we'll get into extra support items that you guys can find. I'm not going to share these ones with you because there's no reason to. You're going to get a copy of this PowerPoint, which is really great. But if you guys have the question of if it's time, this is the time to ask. So I'm going to share my Amazon screen with you, but first I want to hear things that are going on with you. Okay, so I know everyone has very specific questions for their child, and I want to support all of you individually. So I'm going to let people stay on after we're done if they've got the questions that they need answering, and I can go through them. So if you stay on till the end, which is pretty much right now, you can win a $20 gift card to Amazon. So all you have to do in the comments on here is write win potty stuff like that, and you will be entered to win a $20 gift card to Amazon that will be emailed to you. So everyone is welcome to participate in that. Thank you, Margaret, for participating. So write down win potty stuff, just like Margaret and Charity did. Good job, guys. I love it. Okay, so while you guys are wanting to win potty stuff, I'm going to share my Amazon list with you and just go through the items really quick. So I am going to try to find it because now it's, of course, not showing up. Let me just make sure it's here and ready for you. Oh, that's why it was redirected. Okay, while you guys are doing that, here it is. All right, so this is my Amazon list. I love it. These items are really inexpensive and they're super helpful for all parents. So the first one is the Monkey Kitchen Timer. It can go up to 60 minutes. It's just 4 inches by 2 inches. It's $11 and the kids love setting it. That gets them excited to go to the bathroom. They wait for their timer, they get to go. The next one, this is a really easy potty. These potties are $15. So like I said, I really do like potties versus the seats on the toilet for when they're little, because it's really great for them to make the connection that they're physically doing something and they can see it. I know it's messier for us, but it's beneficial for them in the long run. Just make sure if you do use a potty, you're pouring it into the toilet and they're flushing so that they're still getting the same steps. Flushable wipes are fantastic. They're biodegradable. We like them. Sometimes they don't work, but these ones are septic safe. So I feel that they're a really good quality one. And they're really great for helping kids learn to wipe themselves, because that's tricky all the way till I feel like teenagehood. So you might be buying a lot of those. This is the type of stool that I have at home. It's got rubber on the bottom so it doesn't move. So if you do decide to have your children use the big toilet, or they're getting older and they don't need the potty anymore and they're using the big toilet, this is a really great way for them to feel stable, because it's got the 2 levels for different sizes of child and feet. And it gives them that safety feeling when they're sitting on the toilet so that they're comfortable. Books are always fun. I like to have specific books in the bathroom that are board books that I can wipe down, so that if they are sitting and I'm encouraging them to sit for longer periods of time, that's one of them. The puppy pads are here too. Like I said, $30 for 100 of them. You obviously don't need that many. If you need that many, then you might want to email me and we'll have another chat because I don't think you need that many. But they're fantastic and they're to take anywhere. Like if you're at your in-laws house and their kids are sitting on the couch, put it under them, put it in the car, things like that. You just throw it in the garbage after and it's done. And you know that you've saved someone's everything. This is a potty training toilet seat for kids. It apparently fits on 90%, and see how it has handles? That's really great for stability too. It fits on 90% of toilets. It's a little bit on the expensive side. But if you have a household where you'd prefer to do that, that is a great option for you as well. And these are the cotton training pants. They're reusable. I like those for when the kids are just starting. They're thicker underwear, so they soak a bit more. So you don't have a huge pool going down their legs and all over your floor. It soaks it up a little bit, but it's not a diaper. So they still feel wet, and that's what you want. So that is my Amazon tips and tricks list for you guys. I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you for putting the messages to Win Potty Stuff. If anybody has, how can you get the slides? Thank you, Margaret. So you guys can email us at, I think Sylvia posted it, but we are going to post it one more time. ATC webinar, ATCD webinars. Let me put it, ATCD webinars at angelictreasuresdaycare.com. That's it. You guys can email me there and I will forward you the PowerPoint. Thank you, Sylvia. I will forward you the PowerPoint so that you have these tips and tricks. And I will, it's fun because it generates a winner automatically. So Ayana, congratulations. You won a gift card to Amazon. So I will be messaging you, or Sylvia will be messaging you, or Mrs. Angie, if you could. Message Ayana so that she can get some cool potty stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that those everything answered your questions. If anybody does want to stay on and have a few more questions, I don't mind, and I will stay on for 5 minutes. But if there's a lot of questions, just email me at ATCD webinars and I can help you out. I'm always available to support families in the community. And if you guys need anything, I'm a message away. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm going to hang out for 5 minutes, but you guys can head out whenever you need to. You're very welcome. You are so welcome. Miss Sylvia, if you could make sure that we message Ayana. Ayana, can you actually just email us at that and say I was the winner, just so that I can make sure that you get your prize? Thank you. I see the thumbs up. Thank you. Jenny, thank you for waving. I hope that the information was helpful. You're welcome, Gladys. You're welcome, Margaret. Not showing signs of readiness, but I think he's mostly dry at night. That's amazing, Charmaine. That's okay. You know the signs that you're going to look for, Charmaine. So just follow them, follow the stages and see where he's at. So great that he's dry at night. Man, that's usually a tricky one. So that's how you know that he has bladder control. So you've got that. Yes, I can send you guys the Amazon list as well. So it's actually a link. Actually, did we send the link on here? I'm going to give you guys the link right now. Give me one quick second. Nope, that's the Zoom meeting. If you give me one quick second, don't leave yet. I will give you guys the link to my wish list. I do love this wish list. Here we go. So you guys are able to copy it, or sorry, you're able to view it. You can't change anything on it. There it is. So that's my Amazon list for you. That's great. Thanks, guys. Yay. If there's any workshops that you want or things that you want to learn a lot about, just message me and let me know. I really haven't started with my son, so I have lots of work to do, but now I know I can. Ayana, no problem. That's exactly what we're here for. We're really happy that we can help and give you guys a good base to get started or support you. And if you're in a snag, then we can help you with that. Our questions that were asked on Instagram feed being answered. Oh, you guys were not included in, no. Instagram was included in the giveaway. It was automatically generated. But did you guys, if you see at the top of Instagram, I'm going to answer Instagram questions for a quick second because J Mamas has a question. The Instagram questions disappear on me, but I can scroll up and answer them. I actually was answering them. I got questions about the puppy pull-ups. So J Mama's 88, if you have questions, I don't see any questions. But if you do have a specific question, you're welcome to email me at ATCD. Let me just type that in. ATCD webinars. Sorry, you see my screen shaking. At Angelic. Hold on, I need to get my, hold on guys. Treasures Daycare.com. There you go. That's me. You're welcome to email me there and I can answer some question. You're very welcome, Charmaine. I need a daycare. I need to give you guys a call. Of course you have to give us a call. We have locations everywhere. Ayana, just message us. We will support you and your family. That's what we're here for. Are you in Mississauga? Where are you? I know we are the best daycare ever. Thanks, Margaret. My son is 2.5 and he's peeing in the potty only if we direct him to sit. Okay, so noteworthy bliss. If you email us at ATCD webinars, like I have, I will be sending you guys a copy of the entire presentation. So that goes through, oh, sorry, now I've moved my camera. That goes through steps for potty learning so that you can see where your child is at for your son. 2.5 is still a great age for potty learning. So you're still at the beginning stages of it and figure out what's next for him. Peeing when you direct him, that still makes sense. So consistently taking him is going to be your next step. Any daycares in Orangeville? Oh, we're not quite in Orangeville yet. Angie, Sylvia, you guys got to get on that. Chris needs daycare in Orangeville. What's our closest to Orangeville? Nothing yet. Oh. Hey,
Orangeville, is Orangeville close to Newmarket?
It's no, it's that way north. You're very welcome, Chris. I'm glad we can help. Signing off by Margaret. No, it's not. Chris is right, not really. Oh, Chris, we need a daycare in Orangeville. Is that what you're telling us? All right, Sylvia and Angie, get on it. Yes, okay. We're on it. We're on it. You're not going to move to the area. And more cookies. Okay, that's another story. I do love my cookies. You're very welcome, J Mama 88. You're very welcome, Noteworthy Bliss. Okay, so I think we've answered.
Go again. Angie wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say that Brampton, Caledon isn't that on the way to Orangeville?
Yeah, not close enough though.
Not close
Brampton,
enough?
Caledon border. I don't believe that's close enough.
We'll work on it, God willing.
Yes.
Or message us
Not
at
so close.
franchise@angelictreasuresdaycare.com if you want a franchise.
That's right.
We're here for you.
That
So
too.
funny. So next webinar is next Wednesday. You guys are going to have me here every single Wednesday for 8 weeks. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be on. I believe it's behavior management. What? That's a fun one. No, I'm kidding. No, it's a good one. Behavior management and redirection. So next Wednesday, you guys can follow me too. I will have it on Instagram Live and I will have it on our Zoom
And Facebook Live.
and Facebook Live. We are everywhere. And I know that was a little bit more than 30 minutes, but my webinars are usually about an hour. So we did really well. Okay, so I'm going to sign off. If anyone has any more questions. No, everyone's slowly leaving. Oh, Ayana, that makes me feel really good. I'm happy you enjoy it. Hey, if you guys love it, just go on our Google page and leave a good review for Angelic Treasures Christian Daycare. That's always a nice thing to do if you guys manage. Yeah, if you guys felt like these were beneficial, because it just helps me as a program and training director. Nancy has a question. Nancy, yes.
I was going to say Nancy has a question about potty training.
Nancy, go for it. I'm listening.
And I answered it.
Oh, you did? No, she just said I got a question at 9:10. Okay, ask your question again, Nancy. I'm here.
I I can unmute her.
No, it's okay. Let her type just
Wanted
to,
to
did you?
know if her child had to be potty trained to go to daycare. And I said at 2.5, yes,
Hold
they
on.
should be potty
Sorry.
trained.
Hi, Nancy. Was that your question?
No, my question was, do I have to wait until she starts potty trained at daycare before I can start that at home? Does it have to be at the same time?
Well, Nancy, it's really important for you to have a good conversation with your childcare provider and see what their policy is and how they do it. Because some daycare centers are not big on potty training and they don't want to. And
It's you guys. It's Hannah. It's for Hannah.
oh, it's for Hannah. When does Hannah turn? Nancy, when does Hannah turn 2?
Next week.
Oh, we're going to start her next week then. When she
Yeah.
turns 2, we start introducing her to the potty anyways. She's going to be
Oh,
going to the bathroom
okay.
with her friends at school.
Yay.
We've got this. Yeah, no, we've got you taken care of.
Yeah,
Everything. And Hannah's full time. So we'll have her potty trained, don't worry.
Great,
But
thank you.
everything that you heard here is what you need to continue to do at home.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to know if you don't.
So what's gonna happen
She's spicy, though.
after 5? Do I keep taking her every 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every 2 hours until my favorite thing is that as soon as it's like bedtime, so you do bath, they get their diaper on for bed. And then your night's done. So process that when you start bath and bedtime routine. It's like beneficial because then you're just like, whew, one other day done. Let's move on to the next day. That's big.
Okay, that's great. Perfect. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
But chat
Thank
with
you.
Jazz and make sure that they should be starting with her because she's in Miss Beljeet's room, correct?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's good to go. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Have a
night,
good one.
Nancy.
Okay,
you too.
everyone, that was so much fun. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next Wednesday on another hour with me and Sylvia and Angie. So we'll chat soon. Thank you, Instagram. Miss Adriana, behavior management is going to be fun. Can't wait to see you there. Have a wonderful night, guys. Bye.
Yay. Where'd mom go?
I'm gonna stop recording.
Yes.
Do you want to stop recording?